Tokyo DisneySea is ReviewTyme's favorite theme park in the world, and in just a few years, it'll be even better. DisneySea is currently constructing the largest ever expansion for a Tokyo Disney park, a $2.3 billion project that will turn a parking lot into a world of fantasy. Opening just in time for the 40th anniversary of the Tokyo Disney Resort, the land will feature 4 brand new never-seen-before rides, including the world's first Tangled attraction, a soaring Peter Pan ride, and a next-level Frozen ride, as well as 3 restaurants and, surprisingly for a Disney park, only 1 gift shop. Construction is well underway with the land set to open in 2023. But what exactly will be contained within this exciting new expansion when it does open? Let's find out. For Review Time, I'm Luke, and let's explore the upcoming Fantasy Springs at Tokyo DisneySea. In 2015, it was announced that a huge expansion was coming to Tokyo DisneySea, but this was not Fantasy Springs. Instead, a brand new themed port for the park based around Scandinavia and, more importantly, Frozen. These plans proved to not be grandiose enough for the resort, and the cancelled 5-acre Scandinavian land would be dwarfed when in 2018, the newly revised 47-acre Fantasy Springs project was announced. These newly updated plans were everything you'd expect from a resort such as Tokyo Disney. A resort that built this facade just so the back of a show building wouldn't be seen from the bus loop. Compare that to Disneyland, where their costuming building is painfully obvious from the bus loop. Unlike Scandinavia, which would have been constructed in a tiny corner of land within the park, Fantasy Springs is being constructed on the resort's old parking lot, which was at one stage rumoured to be home to the park's third gate, Tokyo Disney Sky, though I have doubts how far that project ever got in planning. The budget for this new land is set at 250 billion yen, or around $2.3 billion US dollars. Not that much less than the 330 billion yen the Oriental Land Company built the entire park for in 2001. This money, though, doesn't just buy Tokyo DisneySea essentially 3 new lands, all combined into one, but also a brand new Deluxe hotel, which is said to be one of the most grandiose Disney hotels in the world. Not everyone is ecstatic about the project though, with some worrying this continues the trend of cartoonification for DisneySea, a park originally designed to be more adult-focused than what was on offer at Disneyland next door. Whilst lands like the Arabian coast are focused mainly on the franchise of Aladdin, it still feels like a real-world place. And this feeling of real-world places is what Tokyo DisneySea does better than anywhere else in the world. The recent inclusion of Nemo and Friends Sea Rider further sends worries to some people in the community, as this attraction is seen by many as favouring characters and IP over what naturally fits in this park and its lands. I, however, am incredibly excited to see what Tokyo Disney does with this spectacular-looking project. The entrance to this brand new land will be via a new pathway constructed between the Arabian coast and Lost River Delta, and will set the scene perfectly before even stepping foot in the land. Fantasy Springs is based on a magical spring that leads guests into a world of Disney fantasy. And the springs themselves will be represented by large characters of the iconic franchises contained within, carved into rockwork. These characters will be bathed in the waters of the springs, continuing the true water focus of the park, with countless water features and waterfalls. The fantastical rockworks don't serve just as your entrance to the land, but also cleverly hide a backstage road going over the top, utilised for cast members to drive vehicles around backstage. Emerging from these caves, you will be surrounded by this new port, with iconic Disney locations everywhere you look. From the North Mountain and Kingdom of Arendelle from Frozen, to Rapunzel's Tower, to Skull Rock and the mountain ranges of Neverland, with a giant hotel serving as the land's backdrop. Each of these 3 mini-lands blend seamlessly together, but all contain their own unique mix of attractions and experiences. Building from what was originally planned for the Scandinavian port, the Frozen section of the land appears to be the standout. Home to the only sit-down restaurant in the land, the only shops in the land, as well as an attraction that will put Frozen Ever After to shame. The Frozen section is set after the events of the first film, where the kingdom has thrown open its gates to visitors, inviting them to shop in their village and dine at a table service restaurant in their castle. If guests venture to the foot of the snow-capped mountains, home to Elsa's Ice Palace, they can board the land's largest attraction, where they will be taken by boat to experience the story of Elsa and Anna, whilst enjoying iconic songs from the hit film and encountering surprising thrills. Whilst this sounds pretty familiar to those who have ridden Frozen Ever After at Epcot, CEO of Oriental Land Company, the owners of the Tokyo Disney Resort, specifically noted that all attractions in the land were newly developed expressly for this project, going on to say specifically of the Frozen ride that we'd like this to become the only one of its kind in the world. This means Frozen won't just be any old boat ride, but is expected to utilize the Shanghai Disneyland Pirates of the Caribbean ride system. This system allows Disney extreme control over the boats, from their speed to their location and rotation. And I, for one, can't wait to see how they utilize this incredible ride system to tell the story of Frozen. The Peter Pan section looks to be the most unique of the land, home to 2 attractions and 1 restaurant, showcasing the magical world of Neverland. Included in the land is of course Skull Rock, Captain Hook's pirate ships for guests to explore, as well as a towering mountain range, hiding the massive show building for the land's main attraction. Inside, guests will board boats and follow the Lost Boys down a river, where the boats are then sprinkled with pixie dust, which causes them to fly over the jungles of Neverland, joining Peter Pan to help rescue Wendy's younger brother John through a battle with Captain Hook. This attraction is marked as a motion-based ride and is housed in a building 5 times larger than Peter Pan's flight. The ride system to achieve this flying effect is rumored to be similar to Flight of Passage at Disney's Animal Kingdom, with the tallest part of the show building for each attraction being a very similar size. Though this attraction could even be the first to use the new ride system flag for the Avengers e-ticket for Hong Kong Disneyland, as well as Disney California Adventure. The second attraction in the land is a trackless Tinkerbell flat ride, set in a section similar to the Pixie Hollow area from a number of Disney parks. Whilst not too much is known about this attraction, and it seems to move and shift between each model or piece of concept art, a trackless flat ride lends itself to something similar to Luigi's Rollicking Roadsters or Aquatopia. But with Aquatopia being in the same park, hopefully they do something to make this version unique, whether it be dancing with others or moving around a more linear pathway rather than a large open space. And if riding all of these attractions work up an appetite, be sure to drop into the Lost Boys Hideout quick service restaurant for a bite to eat. Drawn in by Rapunzel's Tower, guests visiting the Kingdom of Corona section will discover the Snuggly Duckling quick service restaurant, based around arguably my favorite part of the movie, as well as the world's first Tangled ride. The attraction will be a romantic boat tour of Rapunzel's best day ever, as Rapunzel journeys with Flynn Rider to the Lantern Festival. Throughout, you will float past the famous scenes of the film, including a jaw-dropping recreation of the famed lantern boat scene, where countless flickering lanterns illuminate the attraction's climatic scene, where Rapunzel and Flynn sing the iconic "I See the Light," leading to an unforgettable finale. To pull all of this off, the ride will utilize a boat-based ride system, where guests board small boats, firstly floating through a small outdoor section where you ride past Rapunzel's tower before entering a 39,000 square foot show building, where a mix of animatronics, practical effects, and projection screens will bring the famous film to life. Some rumors point to this attraction utilizing the water-based Omni-Mover system first seen in patents 8 years ago, but I'm not 100% sold either way. Concept art multiple times clearly shows separated boats loading on a rotating platform similar to the Storybook Land canal boats in Paris, but on the other hand, Tokyo Disney does love their high capacity on their rides. Towering over the entire land will be the brand new Deluxe Fantasy Springs Hotel, filling a similar space to what the Miracosta does at the front of the park, allowing guests staying on site a dedicated, unique entrance of the park through the Fantasy Springs area. To further showcase Tokyo Disney's attention to detail, the upper half of the hotel is themed in an Arabian style, designed to blend in with the sections visible from the Arabian coast. This hotel, situated above and around the magical springs, will serve as the core of the story of this new port, and that story will continue into the grounds and rooms of the hotel. A mixture of park and non-park facing rooms will make up the 475 deluxe and luxury type guest rooms, with the hotel also containing a pool, a gift shop, 2 restaurants, and a lounge. So, start saving up your money now if you want to stay at this hotel sometime in the future, as it's set to be the finest accommodations ever offered at the Tokyo Disney Resort, a resort that already offers the Miracosta. Originally planned to open in 2022, the pandemic has pushed the opening of this land to 2023, but it looks to be well worth the wait. Not just bringing the world's best Frozen ride and a brand new Peter Pan ride, but also being the only place in the world you can ride a Tangled themed attraction. After this expansion, Tokyo DisneySea only has 2 plots remaining for future development. The one originally earmarked for Scandinavia, and another behind Arabian coast, with the Little Mermaid meet and greet in the area mysteriously being removed recently, and a new power plant built to replace the old one directly behind that meet and greet. Rumors point to this eventually becoming home to either an Aladdin or Little Mermaid dark ride, with Imagineering at one point trying to show OLC executives the Little Mermaid dark ride from DCA, where they essentially said, "Thanks, but no thanks." I, for one, can't wait to visit Fantasy Springs in 2023, and will pretty much be on board with anything Tokyo Disney does in the future with their incredible track record. From the home of all things theme parks, I'm Luke from ReviewTyme. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If so, be sure to like and subscribe, and also tune into our podcast, ReviewTyme's Theme Park Cast, available on your podcasting platform of choice.